Look, it's a Taiwan street, obviously Taiwan flag. Embassy of the Republic of China, Taiwan. One day after my birthday. So Belize is one of the few countries that recognize Taiwan as China, the official China, instead of the mainland China. So very interesting. And you see all over Belize infrastructure projects and cultural centers financed by Taiwan. So yeah, so you recognize Taiwan, in exchange you get investments from Taiwan. That happens all over the world. And it happens the opposite as well. You recognize mainland China as the only China, and then you get a lot of investments from China, Beijing. Hey, I know you, right?
Me dying in the
Have I seen you before? And Taiwan Street, a symbol of friendship. Hello, friends. So just to give a little bit more information about what I said back in Belize. What I said over there was a little bit improvised on the spot. We were walking under the sun, very tired. So yeah, I'm not gonna get too much into details, but essentially there are two Chinas today. Because I was talking about which China Belize recognized. There is the Republic of China, ROC, which is Taiwan, the capitalist capital Taipei, and there is the People's Republic of China, the PRC, which is the Communist China, capital Beijing. And Belize is one of the few countries that has full diplomatic relations with Taiwan. Out of the whole world, only 11 countries still recognize Taiwan as a China, and one of the Chinas, a real China, and has full diplomatic relations with embassies and so on. But it wasn't like that. Quite the opposite. In the past, a lot more countries recognize Taiwan as the real China and not Beijing, the communist China. Why? To be very brief, there was a civil war within China between the communists led by Mao and the nationalists. The war ended in 1949, a little bit after the Second World War, the end of the Second World War, and the nationalists lost the war, and they went to Taiwan, the island Formosa, people knew at the time. They went to the island of Taiwan and a couple more little islands in the region, and Communist China took over, Mao took over. But since it was a little bit after the end of the Second World War, who was the big, powerful country that have won the Second World War? The United States, the capitalist United States. So most countries in the world recognize Taiwan as the real China, Taipei, and not China. Obviously, the communist bloc, Soviet Union, and a lot of the communist countries recognize Beijing as the real China. Fast forward a little bit more, China, communist China is starting to grow, became more important, the huge population, and especially with Nixon, the American president, going to China for the ouverture, the opening to China, more and more countries starting switching but diplomatic relations from Taiwan to communist China. And so you can see in the map. And eventually coming to today, most countries in the world don't have diplomatic relationships with Taiwan anymore. Only 11 countries in the world have diplomatic relationships. You can see the list. And they're mostly small countries, a lot of small island nations around the world. And especially in the last 4 or 5 years, communist China has been doing a lot of effort that diplomatic geopolitical rivalry with Taiwan, forcing countries to abandon diplomatic relations with Taiwan, usually using the traditional carrot of stick approach. Carrot approach, China goes to the country that recognizes Taiwan diplomatically. Hey, I can give you some money for investments, I can build bridges, ports, roads, finance education, culture exchange, and so on. In exchange, you abandon diplomatic relations with Taiwan. Or they can use the stick. Say, okay, if you don't stop recognizing, having relations with Taiwan, I'm going to stop importing all of the products you you export. So imagine you're a big exporter of bananas, and one of the largest markets in the world for bananas is probably China. They're going to stop importing stuff from you. So they can be aggressive as well using the carrot stick approach. So through this method, the last 4 or 5 years, 8 countries abandoned Taiwan, diplomatically speaking, and switched to China, Beijing, the communist China. And by chance, I've been to a few of those countries in the last few years. So I've been to Nicaragua this year, Honduras last year. Last year, I was also in Solomon Islands and Kiribati. And in Kiribati, and they all follow the same pattern. And Kiribati was really interesting. Kiribati is the third least visited country in the world. It's a small Pacific nation in the middle of the South Pacific. And talking to people over there, they said it was quite aggressive the way that China negotiated with the government there. Taiwan, they had an embassy there. They had just renovated like a big building in Taiwan, in Taiwan, in Kiribati, and China got into agreement with the Kiribati government. It's spelled Kiribati, and they said, essentially paraphrasing here, you guys tell the Taiwanese delegation they have a week to leave the country. That's it. Just get out of the country, leave everything here. Like they wouldn't have time to bring all the resources, everything they had invested. And when they left, China, communist China, Beijing, took the embassy, the structure, the whole house that used to belong to Taiwan. And even the cars, like some of the pickup trucks, you would see on the side of the door that they had like a People's Republic of China and everything. And then there was like an old sticker. Then you could see the flag of Taiwan in the old sticker. So it's kind of like weird, to say the least. Or they made left over there as a message. See, they abandoned Taiwan. Now we are like we are the real China here in Kiribati. And Belize is one of the countries that is still recognizing Taiwan. As you know, Belize, it's a small country in Central America. Is the only country there, not in the Caribbean, but in Central America, that speaks English, because they were a British colony. Actually, they used to be called British Honduras until a couple of decades ago, and all the other countries, they speak Spanish. So it's very interesting to visit. I recommend, but also one of the few countries that still have diplomatic relations with Taiwan. And so they invest, and sometimes you see on the road some places that little Taiwanese flag is. There was a barge that we had to cross, like between crossing a river to go to Mayan ruins that they had there, and you see the guy's T-shirt. There was the little Taiwanese flag, so probably Taiwan helped finance that little barge. So yeah, that's a classic developed financing, like when countries invest in the development of other countries. Very common throughout the world. Every rich country, let's say, does that. And you see in a lot of countries, like supported by the people from the United States, by the people from Sweden, by the German people, and Taiwan, and you see like supported by the Taiwanese people, by the Republic of China, Taiwan. It's common. It's part of the geopolitical game. And that's it. So I've written quite a bit about the Taiwan Chinese issue, let's say, and how it involves the United States. So if you want to know more about the subject, or if you have any questions, just leave the questions below in the comments area, and I'm gonna try to help you. And if you like the, I don't know if I want to say that, such a YouTuber. And if you like the video, please like, share, and subscribe. Until the next time.